As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
All right. Welcome to the first episode of Saturday Mornings on Crunch Time. I'm joined here by Booner Sports and Jeff Iafrate. I am Caleb Czarnik. Typically, we'll have Michael Gentry in the house, but he had some prior responsibilities. He'll be back next week. I'm excited to get his takes on, I don't want to start this show negative, but I'm excited to get his takes on the Wings because that team's not very good. Not very good, but we got a packed show today. We'll get into the Wings a little bit. Thank you all for tuning in. And I want to say this. Crunch Time, we're moving different in 2025. We got some big things coming. This new show, I'm excited to get it started. I want to thank you boys for giving me the platform to do what I love and talk sports. And for you guys watching, if you see my fat face on Twitter and you're sick of my takes and you hate my rants, let me know in the chat. This is a good opportunity for you guys to really rip into me. I have thick skin, literally and physically. So I'm ready to get this started, boys. How we feeling this morning?
Hey, you know what, Caleb? That was an electric intro. Lived up honestly, I'm fired up to be here. I know Mike will be here next week. You guys are going to continue to crush. I'm excited, dude. You earned it. I mean, you're a stud, dude. I'm excited. I like this. This is great. It's going to be great.
Hey, it's going to be Saturday mornings are changing forever. That's all I know. Yeah. And I want to say this too. That hat you're wearing might be the best hat in the city of Detroit.
Hell of a hat.
That is unbelievable.
It's a cool hat. I've become a sucker of the Instagram shop thing.
No.
Like if I see an ad, I'm buying it. I'm pulling the trigger. But this is like one of those hats like can't get wet in the rain and stuff. It's fancy stuff. I don't know if you guys
I don't know what that material is, but I like that material. That's good. That's expensive.
Like
I don't know. You must be making a lot of money over there. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's fancy stuff. I
bought stuff off an Instagram ad before. I thought it was cool back in the day. You know, I was in college. I was like, let me get like a chain or something. And I saw something on Instagram, and I was like, that's the one. And then it never came, and I got scammed for like $100. So
hey, well, you live and you learn with those type of things. I actually bought a pair of jeans recently on Instagram. They came, they're great. I become a sucker to that. Someone I didn't want to turn into, but I did. But boys,
they get you.
Boys, we're gonna get right into this. We're gonna start this show on a positive note. The Detroit Pistons, they are red hot. By red hot, 3-game win streak. But when is the last time we've seen a 3-game win streak by the Detroit Pistons? It's been a minute. And leading the 3-game win streak, one of the best point guards in basketball, Cade Cunningham. And this is the conversation I want to bring up with you boys, because when you look at Cade Cunningham, I think before the season you were talking about where does he rank within players under 25 years old, right? Now you got to look at Cade Cunningham on where he ranks in the NBA in general when it comes to point guards and even maybe players in the NBA. For point guards, Cade ranks 8th in points, 2nd in rebounds, and 2nd in assists.
Damn.
That is all-star stuff. And I don't think Cade has reached his ceiling either, because I think he could shoot more efficiently. Because he uses his body, he's physical, he gets to his spots, he's going to hit more of those mid-range jumpers. I think he's going to improve his three-point shot. I think the turnovers are gonna lower. But boys, I'm going to read you some point guards here, and you're going to tell me if you would take Cade Cunningham or these.
Here we go.
We'll start it off light, something easy. Tyrese Halliburton, former
Cade
All-Star.
Cunningham. Tyrese has been weird this year. Give me Cade Cunningham every time.
Yeah, Jeff? I would go Cade as well. I would go Cade. I like Tyrese, but right now with how Cade's playing, give me Cade.
I want it on record too. This is a non-biased opinion. I'm no bias.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely no bias. I got a little bobblehead, no bias. But give me Cade.
I would love to hear like the Indiana like sports talk, them talking about Tyrese Halliburton, because they thought they had the fucking guy. They thought they had the man.
This
guy, I don't want to say fell on his face, but he's not playing.
They thought they had baby Jesus.
I mean, there's games where he has like 5 points and like nothing else. It's kind of ridiculous. Like he's putting up like, I'm not going to, you know what? Positive. I almost went negative there. Positive. Almost said something bad about the Pistons. That's not me. That's not me.
Let's hear it.
No. I was going to say he almost put up like it's really not the. No, I'm not doing it. I was going to say a Sadiq Bey stat line, but I don't want to do that.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. No longer a Piston. No longer a Piston. It's fine. You could give Sadiq Bey a little shit here.
All right. That's fair. I don't
second
even know where
guy,
he's playing now.
This guy, controversial because I've actually had many arguments with my friends about this one. LaMelo Ball. Who you guys taking? LaMelo Ball or Cade Cunningham? And by this, if you plugged LaMelo Ball on the Pistons, do they have more wins than they do now with Cade Cunningham? That's kind of the theme I'm going with here.
No, I don't think. Did you guys see that clip of LaMelo and the reporter asking him like, "What did you guys do schematically to do that?" And he's just like, "Oh no, coach. That's a question for coach." Like, I like LaMelo. He's fun to watch. But if I'm drafting a franchise player, I'm going with Cade. That Cade is I like LaMelo. I just don't think he's not a guy you're going to say, let me get LaMelo because we're going to build around him and we're going to win an NBA championship. He's just a really fun player, an excellent player to watch. But if I'm talking about who would I rather have, like Cade, on top of the talent, the dude is a franchise player. I mean, the way he's a better leader. He's because essentially that when you draft a guy like Cade or LaMelo, that dude is like the pillar of your franchise, and I would rather have Cade than Melo.
I'll say this. I think it's very close, and I think there's a world in the next couple of years where LaMelo Ball and Cade Cunningham are both top 10 players in the NBA, top 15. Like I do. Like Cade's extremely good. Like he's turning into a superstar in front of our eyes. LaMelo too. Like LaMelo's. I know he's played in 20-something games. I think I don't know what it is. The man's still averaging 30 and 8 or something like that. Like he's still like he's one of my favorite players in the league to watch. Like I think one, he's entertaining off the court. Like the man is hilarious, and two, like he can hoop. Like he's just one of those guys that he's just a hooper. And like maybe he doesn't have the leadership skills. So talking about franchise player, it's a little difficult. But like I would be like, yeah, he's going to be one of the best players in the NBA at some point in his career. Same with Cade. So I would go Cade just based off the leadership, but play wise, I think it's like you could argue it's pretty close. Like those guys both put numbers up.
Well, that's it. You guys hit it on the head. It's the leadership. I mean, Cade Cunningham just had 3 years, 2 different coaches, fucking dog shit organization, an organization that it felt like for a minute they didn't care, and Cade stayed on top. Led that locker room. I mean, anybody could have fell on their face. I guarantee. Look at the Hornets. LaMelo, they have a successful year his rookie year, and then the years after that, it's kind of been downhill a little bit. And he's supposed to be the guy to lift it up, and he really hasn't been. And Cade Cunningham is bringing a winning culture. Also, JB Bickerstaff is doing that as well. But Cade Cunningham is bringing a winning culture, and he's the fucking man. I'm taking Cade all day over LaMelo Ball. I can't believe I even put that on there because I don't think he should be in LaMelo Ball.
Let's take a step back on LaMelo. The man's third in the NBA in scoring.
The stats are great, but does he play winning basketball? Cade plays playoff winning basketball.
That's fair. I think Cade's more so of like a team player. LaMelo's a bucket.
Sure,
and he facilitates too, but he's a bucket. I think he's a better scorer than Cade Cunningham. Like he's just a bucket. Like he's a bucket getter.
LaMelo is you put it well. He's just a hooper. Like he's just,
which I love that. Sometimes you need that.
Goes out there and just gets buckets. But like I think we all are on the same page. Like if I want a player, especially come the postseason at some point, like I would 100% trust Cade leading a good team.
Yes.
Than LaMelo. Like I would. So
I mean, so imagine if you had a both on your team. You have a bucket getter and you have Cade facilitating.
Oh my God, that's what I think.
You're winning an NBA championship.
Yeah.
The Hornets need Brandon Miller to be a guy because I don't think you could just win with a hooper. Like you need someone that's going to play like winning basketball. I'm not saying LaMelo is not going to not capable of winning games in the NBA, but I don't know if he's going to win playoff basketball because playoff basketball is a totally different thing. It's slower, more methodical. And I don't know if LaMelo could play that game.
I mean, you look at some of the great NBA players. I mean, even a guy, and I wouldn't compare this player to LaMelo, but just in terms of like hooper, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of the best. I love watching Kevin Durant. He's probably my favorite player to ever watch play basketball. Yeah. But at some point, even Kevin admitted
he's just a hooper.
Yeah, I'm a hooper. We got to go to
James Harden,
Yeah.
just a bucket getter.
Yeah.
He's a scorer.
Yeah, that's a
But
good one too.
he could never go out there and really win a championship because that's all he can do. He needs like things around him.
Yeah.
I wanted to say
Harden's actually a good comp. That's actually a better comp. I like that.
Yeah.
Harden.
And he was averaging like 40 points a game at one point.
I mean, the 2015, 2016 James Harden was something different. And I'm a lefty too. I'm a southpaw. I got the lefty stroke.
Okay.
So I looked up to Harden a little bit. The little step back.
I didn't know you had the southpaw stroke. I like that. I love lefty.
You know me.
Southpaw.
You know me.
Lefties have good shots, man. I don't know if it's just the look or what it is, but always have a nice shot, a lefty.
Boys, I'm going to hit you with one more here. And I got a couple more names on here. I got I'm just going to rattle these off real quick because I don't think Cade is on this level. No. I mean, Dame Lillard.
Guards.
Dame Lillard.
At this point in the career, I think Dame is, I think you could argue is, I don't know. That's a tough one.
He's having a great year, and the Bucks are starting to win too.
Yeah, I mean, Dame's Dame. Like right now, Dame's ahead of Cade because he's Dame Lillard. But like, I mean, if we're talking future-wise, like a career, if you're talking a career, it's like Cade's just younger and he has a higher upside just because of based off like Dame's going to be done soon, like in the next probably 5 to 7 years. But Dame's just he's a vet, dude. He's experienced. Like he's been through it. He's played in playoff games. Cade has not. So that's why it's if like you're saying like, hey, this year, I don't. Oh, that's tough. I don't like that, Cale. I don't like you did that one.
Yeah, I don't know either. Right now, I might take Cade. Honestly, I think I will. I think I'd take Cade. And obviously not career-wise. I mean, Damian Lillard has done so much as an NBA player. But I think right now, if you plug Cade on the Milwaukee Bucks, Cade and Giannis, that'd be ridiculous. That'd be scary.
Yeah, I would probably. I'm trying to just think. I mean, I like big guards, so I always tend to lean big guard, like the bigger guard. But especially when it's close, like and I think Dame at this point in his career, you probably have more of an argument. So I think this could go probably either way. I mean, I'm not going to argue with anyone that says Dame. I would probably go Cade as well. But I think it's close. I think it's really close, to be honest. Like I think I saw Schiff put Damian Lillard in the chat. I'm not even going to pick a bone with that, honestly. Yeah, this one's pretty close, I would say.
Look, I've given Cade Cunningham so much love on my Twitter, and I even opened my first show ever with Cade Cunningham love. But there's a guy that's Cade Cunningham's sidekick right now. We thought it was going to be Jay Ivey. No Jay Ivey disrespect. But there's a guy in Malik Beasley that Trajan Langdon picked up this offseason, 1-year deal. When the Pistons made that signing, I was like, holy fuck, he's not on a team right now. He's a 40% three-point shooter.
Yeah.
That guy is electric off the bench. He brings so much energy. He is lights out from three. He's shooting 42% from three this year. 48% in the past 10 games. 48% from three. And he is plus 6,000 to win Sixth Man of the Year. Plus 6,000. That is crazy. And I always say this. I'm smarter than Vegas. I know more than Vegas. Malik Beasley at plus 6,000 to win Sixth Man of the Year. Disgusting. I get it, Peyton Pritchard having a great year. But Malik Beasley is getting disrespected, but he is getting some love now. I know Detroit Pistons Twitter is pushing his name a little bit more, but plus 6,000, that is ridiculous, boys. Is that a $10 bet you guys would place?
Why
I would sprinkle. Yeah, I'm with Jeff.
Sprinkle?
Sprinkle a little bit on there. I mean, you're just going to be battling all year for it, but the way he's been playing, I mean, he's just going to keep, like, especially this team keeps getting better. I mean, why not just, a little bit of Peyton Pritchard? Hey, if he has better stats than Peyton Pritchard and the Pistons make the playoffs, there's no way you're not sitting there like, yeah, he needs to win it. And he's a vet. So, like, usually to me, I look at it like this in Sixth Man of the Year. Some of these NBA players push vets a little bit more, especially with six man. Remember Lou Will and those guys winning it. Everyone was pushing it. I mean, those are some vets out there. I'm not reading the comment section today. I'm shutting that off.
That's a great question, Lance. I think that's a
great question.
That
one really shook me to my core. Oh my gosh. Hey, Caleb, sprinkle a little. I might do it today out of respect for you. I might do it today.
Speaking of that, I forgot to bring it up. There is no fucking better feeling than when you send a pic in the group chat and it smacks, especially at plus money. Hey, Jay Hart, thank you.
Hey.
Thank you for the $199. I appreciate it. Give Bees a lifetime contract, 6th man of the year. Love it. That's a decision Trajan's gonna have to make. I think his mindset coming into the year was, okay, this guy's gonna shoot lights out. We're gonna be at 20 wins by the All-Star game or the All-Star break, and then we're gonna trade Malik Beasley. Now he's had conversations of, can we give this guy a little deal so he could be the 3-and-D guy for us in the future. We appreciate that, Jay Hart. Thank you for supporting. And I want to say this, I forgot to mention, make sure you subscribe. We're really close to 11.5. If you're not subscribed, do that right now. The boys have great stuff coming, and we love your support. But Nikola Jokic, triple-double last night. Boone texts me, says, Caleb, I need two straight plays. Give me one. And I said, I think I kind of like Jokic here. Trip-dub, plus 155.
Unbelievable pull.
Smack.
I'll say.
And then I'm watching the show yesterday. Boone says, okay, me and Jeff have USC, Texas A&M, over 54.5. I said, yep, I can get a part of that.
Yep.
Place it. Bang. Hey, that's 2-0, boys.
We needed that.
Heater here. We needed
that. We're 3 straight because we took the Pistons plus 12.5 the
Yep.
night before, and they come back and win the game. So we've hit 3. I told you guys, I think it was, what was yesterday? Yesterday was Friday. I told you guys Wednesday night. I said, hey, I have been, since I hit Booner's lay of the day on Sunday, 3 straight days, I have not hit a bet. I can't, anything I place, it's like the worst losses of all time. And I was like, I just need to win. I've won 3 straight bets. Last night, too, Caleb, the over in that game, when I went to bed, it was 7-7 in the fourth or in the third quarter or something. It was like 7-7 in the third quarter. And I was like, oh, it's dead. I shut it off. I'm going to bed. I wake up like 36-31. They score 60 points. In like the fourth quarter, I think they scored. I don't even know. I guess I can go look. They scored 28 points. Jeez, man. 35, 45.
Oh, I love it.
They scored 52 in the second half. 52 after I went to bed, they scored. And that's basically the over. It was 54.5.
There are few things in life that are better than taking like a West Coast game, like a late game, falling asleep and waking up, and you have money in the bank. There's nothing better than that. Nothing better. Hey, but I see this. Shout out Steve Lehman. Gifted 5 Crunch Time memberships. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. W, Steve. Thank you.
Look how many people are watching us right now. You see that? The number?
Hey, let's keep it there. That's a great number. That's a great number.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you, Caleb.
Doc was in there, dude.
Doc's in here.
Doc, hold up. Doc was Zilla peeping. Probably.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
good morning, Doc.
You know?
He's
watching.
Doc. Hey, Caleb, I'm just going to say this too real quick. I know you have a lot to talk about. I'm shocked. Hey, there's college football today. I don't know. Did you know that?
Dude, I was in the lab last night. And
do you have plays today at some point?
There's nothing that jumped off.
Cam Ward's playing football today.
He's playing football today. Does that mean the over?
I love a Cam Ward over when he's playing football. Shador Sanders plays football. Travis Hunter plays football today.
There's good football. Just
throwing it out there.
But one thing that does piss me off is why are the bowl games on New Year's Day?
It's been like that forever.
But that is crazy. I'm hungover, can't open my eyes, and they expect me to put my brain together and gamble on sports. NCAA, let's get this figured out. Let's do New Year's Eve. Can we negotiate that so I can place my drunk bets and then win?
I'm going to say this, Caleb. I'm 27 years old. It's been like that for 27 years of my life. New Year's Day is all the big, like you want to, like if you're a college football player, your goal is to be like, I want to play on New Year's Day in a bowl game.
I'll be the one to change it because because that's crazy. This is crazy.
That's hilarious.
You know, going off of the positives from the Detroit Pistons, something's happening in Detroit sports. One of the teams has been, and I wish Unc was here for this, and I'm not going to shred Unc today. I don't want to do that when he's not here. I'll make sure to get him going next week. But the Wings fire the lawn, 89-86 record as a Red Wing. They bring in Todd McClellan, new coach, and I talked to Unc a little bit yesterday. He said he's a fiery guy, likes to yell. I think there was a clip of him yelling at his team saying, "Hey, we got to play harder. We got to get things going here." And I guess my question is, a team with so much expectation coming into the year, and you fall on your face, basically. Does firing your coach, whether it was a good move or not, does that set you back maybe even a year if you fire your coach, even if it was the right move? Because you got young guys in that locker room. If you fire your coach and you bring a whole new guy in, a whole new culture, I mean, what does that do to a team?
Yeah.
Like, did they just take a step back here, even though it was the right move?
I'll say this, Caleb. I think there's a point, and I said this on the show last night when we opened it up. We were talking a little bit. We didn't really do any segments on it, but my point with it the whole time was, and I hate to do this to you boys because you guys are Pistons. I'm a Pistons guy too. It's just like, I think there's a point in like the right way to run an organization is if you see, I think it's anything, like not even just sports, but like any organization. It's like if you see something bad happening or something going downhill, like you have to address it instantly. Like you can't let it just keep spreading and keep spreading. And that's where I think like the Pistons for the last 15 years, and the owner over there, Tom Gores, the problem he's done as he continues, like he just always lets it go too long. Like he lets like these guys just ruin the organization and ruin it until it's like, you're so far gone, there's no chance of coming back, it feels like. And that's why I think Stevie Y, I know Stevie Y hasn't done the best, and people are a little mad at the Iser plan, as D-Mac says. But I think that was like a positive move on all aspects, like all aspects. Like I think the players knew, like, hey, we're 20, 30 games into the season. We have a chance here. And I know they're far back and this team doesn't look good. But like if there was any time to be able to turn a season around, there's still an opportunity. You still have 50+ games left. Like you still are sitting there like, hey, we could figure this thing out. We did it last year. We could do it this year. But there had to have been a change to be able to do that. Like you weren't going to be able to continue doing what you were doing and win hockey games. Like it was never going to happen. And I think Stevie Y looked at it and said, we need to do this. Like something has to happen. And I you know what? I think it's a positive coming out of that office that he made that move, showing that, hey, he's actually trying to get this thing right. Because I think a lot of Red Wings fans were a little, hey, what's going on with Steve Yzerman? Is he actually like, what is he doing? He's created a Stanley Cup winning team in Tampa, but he hasn't done really much here in Detroit. I think that was a positive. As much as Red Wings fans are going to look at it and be like, I'm still like, he's still on the hot seat. Like, yeah, he is because you haven't won. But that was like a positive, I think, in all aspects. And you probably won't see like an impact within the first week or two. But I think like long-term in the next couple weeks, like a month or so, you're going to see like a vibe change in that locker room. And that's just the way it is when a leadership gets changed. Like, it's different. Guys get remotivated. Guys kind of look at the thing a little differently. Listen, and I could be wrong. I've watched probably, I would say, half of the games this year, probably 15 to 20. I'll just say this, like, I don't know it. Like they don't look good. Like they don't look like they're playing hard. They don't look good. I don't know if it's the thing. And Caleb, maybe you could tell me if I'm wrong, or someone in the chat. Like they have similar players as they did last year. Like it's not like the roster is like totally flipped upside down. Their core is still their core, and we saw what their core could do last year. So I think it's about getting guys playing good again. Like that's all it is. Like motivated and good again. New coaching, a new coaching staff, like that does that. So yeah, hey. I think there's a chance that they kind of figure this thing out and turn around just a little bit. Obviously, there's a long ways to go, though. I like the move. I really do. I think there was like the right timing and the right way to do it.
Yeah, obviously it was something that needed to be done.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you lose 4 straight. They've been underperforming this season. It's been underwhelming. Even Mike would tell you that. Like most Red Wings fans right now are in disarray, and rightfully so. Like this roster isn't. I would say they're not good. Which I think from Stevie Y, like if you look at some of their rankings just in general, obviously goaltending's a problem. Obviously defensively, they have a ton of issues, not just goaltending. And even they're offensively, I mean, they're like 30th, I think, in goals for. So this team, like if you can't get that right, Derek, get the hell out. You know, they have to bring in someone that, you know, to kind of what Mike was talking about, Tom McClellan, who's now the head coach, and obviously he's a familiar face, was here. Back when they won in 2007 or 8, when he was here, he was his assistant coach. To have a familiar face that know what it takes to win, that's a positive. And the other thing would be he's not afraid to hold players accountable, which I don't know what Derek's thing was. I've never been around him, but it seems like players just stop playing for him. Like they just quit. And once you lose a locker room like that, you're done. It's over. It's hard to get it back at that point. So the Red Wings made the right move. I all jokes aside, even though me and Gentry have a little battle in the war, and now Caleb, you've joined. Now we're going at Gentry. It's fun. I do want the Red Wings to be good. So I think this is the first step in doing that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they get some rejuvenated energy the rest of the year. But yeah, it stinks. I mean, we've had conversations. We have in other shows. I mean, it's a huge thing. Like who will be the first to make the playoffs or the second team to make the playoffs or now the third after the Tigers? Now it was like pretty consistent. It's the Red Wings. Now it seems like the Red Wings are going to be the last team to make the playoffs. It gets this feeling, but I still got faith they'll turn it around. I think Tom's an excellent hire, so they'll be all right.
And
they stink.
They stink. They're terrible. And like you said, we joke about it all the time, like Pistons versus Wings, but there's nothing I want more than playoff hockey in Detroit. Hockey, the NHL is just better when Hockey Town is rocking. But let's say this doesn't happen. Let's say this coaching change doesn't do much. You don't see progression from the guys you want to see progression from. Your veterans aren't playing well. You're just not playing good hockey. Steve Yzerman needs to hold himself accountable because I've seen a lot. I creep on Red Wings Twitter once in a while, and I see guys saying if this guy's name isn't Steve Yzerman, he's fired. Like the job he's done, we had sky high expectations. I saw some people say, who knows if it was Lalonde? What if Yzerman just put a bad team on the ice? And I just think this guy has to hold himself accountable a little bit. I tune into the Wings, once in a while, and I notice the energy's low on that team. Hopefully that changes, because of the new coach. But so far, man, it's been rough for the Yzer plan, and I'm hoping things can turn around. But I don't know. Do you guys think if things don't, let's say, because they're not making the playoffs this year? I've heard from multiple people they're saying this season's done. Let's say if they don't show improvement this year, at least, how hot is Yzerman's seat? Do you guys think?
I mean, I think right now, I'll just be honest, I think it's hot now. Like, I think you are looking at it because, like, last year at the beginning of the season, he was like, hey, we're not expecting to make the playoffs, but if we do, that's a bonus, and we're able to build off that. And then I think he was like, next year's the year. And then now this next year, you're in a worse spot than you were last year. So there is, like, that question. Like, I think the thing, too, like, with ownership is, like, if people say it, like you said it, Caleb, like, it's Steve Yzerman. Like, yeah, we all knew when he got the job he was going to have a bigger leash because it's Steve Yzerman. Like, we know that. Like, no one hates him. Like, yeah, he deserves some heat because he hasn't been able to really put a product on the ice and win games. So he does deserve heat. But, like, I don't think it's one of the, I don't, it's just such a weird situation because it is Steve Yzerman. And I don't think it's a bad thing because I don't want to say this. I think there's still and I hate to say it because it's like, it's as a fan, there's like a hope. But I do feel like Steve Yzerman can get this thing done. As crazy as that sounds. It's like he did it in Tampa, and like we know the hockey mind that he is. And it's not just Steve Yzerman, too, guys. Like, you're talking about like the front office is full of like Red Wings legends. Like, these are guys that are going out there like doing everything they can to turn this thing around. Like D-Mac talked about it all the time. Like, they have so many legends in there trying to go out there, not recruit, but like scout, help build this organization. And like you saw in Tampa, he did it. Like, he did it, and they won cups. And now in Detroit, like, I think the problem is it's taken so long. Like, I think eventually, and I think that's why Chris Ilitch and these guys or whoever runs. I don't know. Is Chris Ilitch running the Red Wings as well? Is there a different like brother or something that's kind of in charge?
No, it's Chris. It used to be Mike.
So he's just running two teams.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if they like delegated.
Mike was the man.
Someone else.
Mike was the man.
He should delegate and give let someone else help run one of the teams so he doesn't have two teams.
He won't do that. He won't do that, dude. He won't do that.
Yeah,
But I'll just say, like, I think eventually Steve will get it done. I think it's just the patience. It's like it's hard for Wings fans because we've won for so long to be like, hey, just keep waiting. But it's just not looking good. I don't know. I guess I'll give them till the end of next year. And if you're not in the playoffs next year, then you maybe need to make a change. But I mean, the Wings, it's just tough. It's hard to be like, hey, let's walk away from Steve Yzerman because then he'll go to a different, organization and become a GM. And then like, imagine if he won a cup there, we're going to be like, oh, well, he won. Like, it's a tough spot to be in.
And it's easy to point fingers too, because you even look at like the first year, the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell era when they sucked, and it was easy to point fingers being like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing and everything. But at the same time, it has been a couple years for Yzerman. And this is a winning franchise. So they expect, I mean, the fans, at least, we expect winning in Detroit. And it just hasn't happened yet.
In football, is like that's why there's the term "worst to first" in the NFL, because you can turn around a franchise. You should be when you're a GM, and let's say a GM you become the GM of a team in the NFL that has like a top 5 pick. You should be in the playoffs in 2 to 3 years. That's how it works typically. Like you should be back in the playoffs in 3 years. In hockey, I get the more patient. Same with the NBA. But yeah, Red Wings fans have the right to be frustrated. I mean, you have one 40-win season in Stevie Y's tenure. I mean, it's frustrating. Like, I get that. And the 40-win that was last year, you missed the playoffs, and everyone's expecting, well, they're going to make the playoffs this year. And of course, they've actually done the opposite. They've been underwhelming. So I agree with that take, though. Give them till next year. We'll see what happens, and then at that point, you can determine whether you want to make a change. But I'm not touching Stevie Y right now. I'm not doing that.
Shout out JB too in the chat. JB Smooth, baby.
Shout out.
JB
What
Smooth.
a legend. What a legend.
All right, boys. Something happened yesterday. I usually I'm right about everything. Everything I talk about, I know everything about anything. Yesterday, wrong. I was way wrong about something. Gleyber Torres signs a 1-year, $15 million deal with the Tigers. 28-year-old, good player. Last year, collected like 150 hits for the Yankees, had some important hits in the playoffs for him. He's going to be an immediate impact bat in this lineup. The year before last year, he had an 800 OPS at like 273. So this guy's a good hitter. His first 2 years in the league, I think his second year, he had like 28 home runs, high 800 OPS. The whole question was, where does he play? Because last year, Gleyber Torres turned down contract offers because he didn't want to play third base. And that's kind of the vacancy we have right now. Obviously, there's Bregman rumors, so we'll get into that a little bit. But what I was thinking is, where the fuck is he going to play? Because he's primarily a second baseman. We have Colt Keith. There was rumors that Colt Keith was getting reps at first base. So I came out and said, this is what I think is going to happen. I think we might DFA Javi. Gleyber Torres plays short, and we keep everything the same. My second option was Gleyber plays third, and then Vierling plays first, platoons at first. I was wrong about both. About 20 minutes after I posted that post, Evan Petzel comes out and says Colt Keith will be moving to first base. Look, this is what I think about it. I know I was wrong, but am I crazy for saying I don't like this move? Moving Colt Keith to first base, because this is your franchise guy. You're going to change your franchise guy's position for a guy on a 1-year deal. That doesn't make much sense to me. But Gleyber also Torque. Sorry, buddy. Look, I've been on and off with you, Torque. You're electric at times. Other times, you're not very good. But I'm going to be nice to you today, Torque, because this is a tough time. The future of Spencer Torkelson on the Detroit Tigers is obviously in question. I know Scott Harris did have a conversation with him, basically saying this is what our plan is. If you come into spring training and you absolutely rake, there are going to be spots on this team for you. But as of right now, I don't know. I don't know, boys. This is going to be tough if we see our first-round pick, the first overall pick in the MLB draft, just kind of get pushed off to the side. It's going to be sad to see, because Torkelson, there's been some great moments from Spencer Torkelson. I don't know about you guys, but some of those home runs, man,
it's fired up.
It's an experience. Great home runs. Yeah, torque bombs. Love them.
It's the torque experience. It's like, and I posted this on our YouTube channel in the community section. I posted the graphic we made, and people were kind of commenting on it. And I saw a comment yesterday and I want to get your guys' opinion on. Someone called him Javi Baez 2.0. Is that?
Let's not do that.
Gleyber Torres?
Yeah, is that?
Oh, I thought you were talking about torque. I was like, let's not do that torque.
That is just so unbelievably false. Gleyber Torres, no one is Javi Baez. Javi Baez is one of being so fucking shitty.
Agreed.
No one is Javi Baez. That is an unbelievable statement. Gleyber Torres, he controls the strike zone. I saw this stat. I think Castellani posted it. I think so. Glaber's on-base percentage last year was like 360 something.
Yeah.
Javi's career OBP is like 290. That is terrible. That is awful. But yeah, Javi 2.0. That is
now. What's the narrative? What's the narrative? Genuinely curious. What's the narrative with him in the lazy narrative? Why is it
Javi?
No, not Javi.
Glaber.
Yes, that was one thing. I had like probably 7 comments. People kind of repeatedly saying the same thing. He's lazy. Someone said he's considered one of the most laziest players in baseball, and then someone else commented he got benched for being lazy. What is that narrative? Explain that. What is that?
Well, I don't know about being lazy, but he did struggle in the field. If that's what they're talking about,
I don't know. Talking about
probably. I don't know if it was effort plays. It could
why
have been
the narrative. Why is that? That's a tough narrative to have.
I don't know, and I'll say this about Glaber too. Like, he was playing in the big city. Like, New York is a tough place to play, and I think a change of scenery coming to Detroit is going to be huge for him. Typically, you don't see players like come to Comerica Park and get better, because it is a tough place to hit. The fences are so far. Illich, that's something you have to do is move the fences in. Like Miggy said it, Victor Martinez said it. Everyone's saying move the fences in, but it's a tough place to come and hit. But I do think a change of scenery is going to change a lot for Gleyber Torres. The Tigers definitely got better. He's going to be a great piece to this team. The lazy stuff, I don't know. I'd have to look more into that. But he definitely did make some errors. But I think that's something we can clean up because Joey Cora, who coaches the infielders, he's a great infield coach. So I think that stuff will get cleaned up.
Hey, Caleb, too. I mean, and this is my outlook on the torque and the Colt Keith and all this whole movement thing. And I could be wrong. I'm not obviously as in this baseball world. I watch the Tigers. I'm locked in a little bit, but not as much as you. But my thought process, first of all, is this: like, I get you're like, hey, moving your franchise player off his position for 1 year. Listen, I think the first thing I think of is like, hey, this guy's like versatile. Like, he's going to be able to, like, if you need him to do that ever in the future, you can rely on that. Like, if there's you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's good, especially when you're looking at like a lineup and you're like, all right, we need more bats. What can we move around? And for Colt Keith, I think he came or went to Scott Harris and said, hey, I'll go anywhere. Like, wherever we need, if it makes the team better, if there's obviously maybe, if there's a better shortstop that can hit and we can get Torque out of the lineup and we can move him and that makes this lineup better, I will do that. And for him to do that, like, that's huge. Like, hey, Caleb, you should be looking at your franchise player and being like, I love that out of him. Like, he's like, hey, I will move if I need to. So I don't think they're taking him out that for 1 year. Like, if he went to Scott and did that, which I think Scott said he did, we should be fired up, first of all. And secondly, with the Torque thing, listen, and then maybe this is just me on an island here, and I think about this in every sport. If a guy, especially like a top, let's say a 5 pick, like if you're sitting there and you're struggling in your career and you're trying to figure this thing out, and we know like, hey, this is what your ceiling could be, and you're not even coming close to it, getting put in a position to where you have to scratch and claw your way out of it, to where now he doesn't have a spot in this lineup and on the field, that might make Torque get this thing back on. And I know that's like such a long shot, and it's probably, let's say it's leaning 80-20 no. Like,
don't do this to yourself.
No, I'm saying it's the 80% chance no. Listen, I am not saying it's going to happen. I'm not even giving myself hope. But what I'm saying is, guys in those spots, you sometimes see like right now, if you just kept throwing him in there, he's not going to get it together. He's going to be the same Torque for the rest of his career, and people are going to hate him, and it's done. He's going to be, it's done. But if you put him in a different position and say, hey, dude, you're not position like wise, but I'm saying like in his career, be like, hey, you're now coming off the bench. Like, you're now like a utility guy. Like, you're over here. And like, when we need you or a guy goes down, you're next man up. That sometimes helps players like revitalize and like, hey, maybe now we have to look at you as you're not a top 5 pick anymore. You are now a player that we need you to be very, very good as a role player on this team, and you no longer are that pillar. And it's like, hey, that's fine. But if he can go out there and do that, and I know it sucks because he was that for you. He was supposed to be one of those guys for you. But as Tigers fans, you have to change your mind and like be like, okay, he's no longer that. It was like, for a couple of years, people with J-Mo with the 12th overall pick, they're like, okay, maybe he's not. Now he is. But like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's now the mindset with Torque that people need to have. Like, stop holding him to that standard of the first overall pick and now hold him to a standard of, hey, now he's a role player. He needs to he needs to be elite when his number is called. That's how I look at Torque now. Just so you don't get hurt anymore. Working yourself up every time Torque goes out there and swings at a million balls. You just go, hey, he's no longer held to the standard of the first overall pick. He is now held to the standard of a role player in the Major League Baseball league. Like, that's what it is now. That's how I look at it with Torque going into this year.
What about this? Ryan Lentz just sent me this. Wait, hold on. Well, can it focus? Baez and Torres combining the worst to be the worst defensive infield of all time.
Dude, there's going to be some bumps in the road. But look, they're both they're both kind of electric in the field. I mean, they make errors, but they make some plays.
Yeah,
Javi Baez makes some plays. Javi Baez, you stink, but you make some plays. But Boone, to your point,
see what I'm saying?
Kind of, but there's two lanes that you could look at it. Like, baseball's a very mental sport. Torkelson is always going to hold himself to the expectations of a first overall pick.
He needs to switch it too. Then
you can't. I think as a competitor and as a player that dominated in college and probably in high school, obviously in high school, he's always been the best player. As a competitor and an athlete, you're especially in baseball, it's such a mental game. His mindset is never just going to switch.
He's done. Career's over. I'm sorry.
Chill. No.
I'm just saying, you have to change your mindset. You can't be like, I'm the first overall pick if you haven't played at that level your whole career for maybe one season. So it's like, okay, you need to get back to that, but you're not going to get back to that just by swinging out of your shoes and making mistakes. You're not going to. So maybe, hey, take a step back, which I think this is the Scott Harris move, being like, we're moving Colt into your spot. We're bringing Gleyber Torres in, and you have to work your way back. Claw your way back, buddy. You are now a role player. Have that mindset and be a guy that we need coming off the bench when we need you, and figure that out.
I don't think Scott Harris wants anything more than to keep Spencer Torkelson on this team.
I agree.
But I mean, at some point, you got to show us something. Someone made a good point. I saw it on Twitter the other day. So if Torque comes off the bench, AJ Hinch likes versatility. All Spencer Torkelson does is strike out and play first base.
Can he play any other position? There? Can we get that man in the outfield or something? Can he do anything?
No.
I'm genuinely asking.
He played a little bit of third. He played a little bit of third base, but no.
All right. He can't. I might be out on Torque then.
And I hate to say it, but I know I joke a lot about Spencer Torkelson, but dude, what happened with him sucks, man, because he was supposed to be like our Paul Goldschmidt. He was supposed to be the guy hitting in the middle of our order, driving in 100 runs a year, hitting 40 bombs. It just hasn't been that way. And typically, you see when high first round picks kind of crumble in their first couple of years, it's very hard for them to bounce back. Yeah. But I did see someone say he is 25. He has tools where he can hit the 30 home runs. But we just need to see it. We get ourselves excited every year about Torkelson. He had the 31 home run year 2 years ago and then came in last year and was just not good. And you're a competitive baseball team now. Can you afford to give a guy like Spencer Torkelson 300 at-bats? I don't think so.
I think it's just now
Eugenio Suarez and JD Martinez were 26 when they developed Crazy Clown said, yeah, but they weren't the first overall pick getting compared to Paul Goldschmidt.
That's where it's now you have to go away from that. That's my point right there. It's
but I'm telling you, it doesn't.
I guess you're saying that for him, in his mind. I get that, but I still think for him, you have to look at yourself now. Go look at those guys, those players, and be like, okay, I need to take a step back. And that's what I think the Tigers organization is just doing it for him instead of him doing it himself. They're doing it for him and saying, all right, sit over here for a little bit. You have to turn into one of those guys. We need you to figure this thing out. We're going to give you a chance the next few years, and maybe he's going up and down, moving around, but we're going to need you to figure this out because he does have the tools for it. You just have to stop putting that number one overall pressure on him. I'm going to stick to that
but
forever.
That pressure will never. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I mean, they're like I said, Scott Harris did have a conversation with him and said hey, if you come in hot spring training, come on,
yeah,
we need you, but. I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, hard for an athlete to kind of do that to himself. And that's a hard conversation Scott has to have. It's hey, you're going to be on the bench. If you do make the team, you're probably not starting. You might start the year in AAA. Yeah.
Ryan's comment.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Breaking Gary Bonds record in college, not getting hit 220.
He's right. He's right.
He's
right.
crazy.
But yeah, tough conversation. But overall, Gleyber Torres, the Tigers did get better. I don't think they're out on the Alex Bregman sweepstakes. Colt Keith, I mean, I guess he's our first baseman. I'm not the biggest fan of it, like I said, but I just want wherever Colt Keith needs to play, as long as he gets to be in the lineup. I mean, that guy, that July he had was electric, and I'm hoping we see more
Caleb,
of that.
I was looking this morning. I was just writing down like what the lineup could be, like the batting order.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have some. I feel like they're gonna have some dudes this year. Like they're putting together an order to where you're like, finally, like for years it was like the Tigers can't hit. Like you're like, oh my gosh, like this is brutal watching from top to bottom. Now that you add Gleyber Torres and guys are starting to get older and getting better, like Colt Keith's only going to get better. Riley Green's only going to get better. Kerry Carpenter in the lineup, like dude, you're Parker Meadows is just going to keep getting better. Like these guys are like young. And they were already pretty decent in time. Like they had big spurts last year.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at like 7-8 dudes that can like, you can have dudes that can rake. And I'm ready to go to Comerica already.
I mean, I'm
can't
excited.
Wait.
And there's going to have to be guys that I mean, I know Riley Green had an all-star season last year, but we need him to be that like bulldog in the middle of the order. Like we're going to need like a 890, 900 OPS season from him from here on out. Kind of, I know that's a tall task, but like we need him to be the guy. The way we're constructing this roster is he's going to be the guy. And one guy you mentioned, Parker Meadows, man, he has no ceiling. Like truly, when you look 5 years from now, he could be a top 10 outfielder in baseball. If he could put it together at the plate and just give us like an 800 OPS season, again, I know that's a tall task, but the way he plays in the field, if he figures it out at the plate and he could steal bases, this guy is fucking electric. Mark my words, I'm telling you, Parker Meadows is unbelievable. And I see Ryan Lentz. Max Clark is going to lead us to the promised land eventually. I'm so excited to watch Max Clark. I am so excited to watch Max Clark. That guy is a baller. When we first drafted him, I didn't like it that much. But now that I've like watched him play more in the minors and him, you know, he's a 5-tool guy, which is exactly what we need. He comes with a little bit of swagger. This guy's going to be electric. I just
look at these young guys. Like, dude, I'm juiced for Parker, Riley, Max Clarkson to be coming at some point. Colt Keith, like it gets my juices flowing. I'm going to be honest.
Hey,
they've put Scott Harris as much as these guys have put together a nice little young lineup, and the best part about it is these young guys just were in the playoffs. Like they just went on a run. Yeah. Like, they just went on a big run in the playoffs. So they know now. Typically, when you look at a young team, you don't get the opportunity for a little while to even do that. The fact that they were able to go in there and get experience, and especially these guys, whether they played good or bad, like I know Colt Keith didn't hit great in the postseason, but the fact that he's able to get at bat so early in his career and instantly be like, this is what it's like, to where it's like now when you make the playoffs next year, Colt Keith isn't going to do what he did in the postseason. Like he's gonna hit better, and then the next year you're gonna build off in year 3. In the postseason, boom, he's hitting better and better. And that's when you form a World Series team, when these guys just continue to get like reps in the postseason. And like, man, like Parker getting reps in the postseason, Riley, that's like what you needed. And you needed that bad. And now they got that taste. And once you get that taste, man, that motivates you to get back. Like that motivation's unlike anything else.
Hey, look at Evan Petzold put this out too. Tigers' pursuit of third baseman Alex Bregman continues with strong interest as market narrows.
Hey, what's the deadline and like everything with that, Caleb? Because like, I'm interested to know, like, is there going to be like a time where it's cut off? Like, hey, guys have to sign, so we know like this Alex Bregman stuff. Like, when does this end?
Not necessarily. There's not really a deadline. Like last year, you saw we like signed Mark Canha or Gio Urshela in like March. So there's really no deadline. And there's players even last year. The guy Blake Snell, pitcher, left-handed pitcher, Scott Boras is his agent, and Scott Boras held out for like half a season because he didn't like any of the deals coming in. So there really is no deadline. I mean, if a Bregman move were to happen, I would expect the next week or two. That's just coming from my brain, no sources or anything, but that's just my guess because it really just does make too much sense. Like AJ Hinch just has to sit down and be like, hey, we're a young team. We made it to the playoffs last year. I coached you in Houston. You're exactly what we need, and we'll give you $30 million a year for 7 years. And I think that's something that Alex Bregman won't want to turn down, and that's something the Tigers should make happen. That and this all goes back to, I know I bitch about him a lot, but it fucking drives me up a goddamn wall that baseball owners just don't spend money because that is the only way you're going to win in baseball. Scott Harris, I've been so mean to Scott Harris, but I'm not even sure it's his fault anymore because Chris Ilitch just needs to open the checkbook and realize the reason these teams are winning. Like, look at the Texas Rangers. They're not the biggest market in the league. They won a World Series because they spent $500 million in an offseason. That's the stuff you're going to have to do. Take pride in what you own. Take pride in the Detroit Tigers. It's an historic franchise. Chris Ilitch needs to open the checkbook, and that starts with Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman is a perfect fit. If we let him go to another team on like a $25 million deal, I'm going to lose my fucking mind because that's all it takes. You have the money. Just get it done. That's the only way you're going to win in baseball. It sucks. I know. It might be bad for the sport. I don't know. But it's the only way you're going to compete. I get it. You have a ton of great prospects. They're going to be great. But you need to spend money to complement those prospects. And I think Alex Bregman's the perfect guy to do it. But it's all up to Chris Ilitch.
Hey, well said.
It's all up to Chris Ilitch.
You.
It's all up to Chris Ilitch. But boys, big matchup on Sunday. Monday. We're playing on Monday night.
Monday
night football. We will be live for that. And also we will be live. Tomorrow was Sunday, correct?
4:00.
Sunday. Yep. 4:00 for Packers-Vikings. Huge game for the NFC North. Huge game for the Lions. It's going to be weird. Rooting for the Packers because, man, I do not like that team, but we need them to win tomorrow. Guys, for Monday, Lions, 49ers, 3-point spread. Does that mean anything to you that the spread's only 3? I mean, the 49ers out of contention. They're 6-9, bad team, and the Lions are only 3.5-point favorites. Does that mean anything to you?
I mean, it is kind of interesting because I'm not going to lie. I thought this Lions team's going to I think this Lions team's going to beat them by 20 points.
Yeah.
20. I think they're going to go out and win by 3 touchdowns. I keep saying it. I feel bad, knock on wood, because I feel like I'm jinxing this. But and I think a lot of the chat agrees with me, and I hope you boys agree with me. I know Jeff doesn't. Jeff thinks this is going to be like an absolute battle of a game. I just think I'm looking at this game like with all their injuries, and they've given up 30-plus points to every contender that they've gone up against all season long. I think this Lions team puts up 40 on them. This is the best offense that the 49ers are going to see all season. They're at the point to where they're kind of checked out, at least half of them. Some guys are checked out. They should go out and win this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and they should put 40 points up on this 49ers team. Almost choked on my coffee there. That's on me.
Hey, you're good. Yeah, Jeff, what do you think about this 3-point spread?
Yeah, I mean, it's Vegas. I think Vegas is assuming that this game is going to be more of a kind of a battle. I think it will be. I mean, I picked a 10-point victory, but still, I think it's going to be one of those games where the Lions like score late and go up 10, and then they don't. I think it will be relatively close. I do, because the 49ers defense is healthy for the most part. So you're getting a 49ers defense that's healthy. Now, offensively, that's where I'm excited to see this defense, because they're missing offensive linemen. Obviously, Trent Williams. They're on their 4th-string running back. No Ayuk. They're a little banged up offensively. So I think it's a better matchup for the Lions defense. Maybe, and Booner even talked about it, getting turnovers, which I hope they get back to. Not just turnovers, but interceptions, because they had a turnover last week. But interceptions, I think they'll be able to do that this week, maybe pick off Brock Purdy. But I just don't admit, and I could be wrong. I'm leaning towards no, but this is why we have opinions, because we're going to see who was right, who was wrong. I don't think the Lions are just going to walk into San Francisco and put up 40 on that defense, personally.
Again, that defense has given up 30 to the Packers and the Bills in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. Again,
nothing there.
No, but that's not. It's tough to use that, because again, the Lions defense have given up a bunch of points to certain offenses, other offenses they don't. Every game's different. It's a game of matchups. And I think the 49ers, and this is where Booner and me disagree. I think the 49ers, although you could say, well, they're out of the playoff contention, they're checked out. I don't think so. I think they're going to be locked in for this game. I think this game, they're understanding, hey, the Lions want to come to San Francisco and whoop our ass because we beat them in the NFC Championship game last year. Mm-hmm. Let's not allow them to do that. Now, will they? No, the Lions are going to win. But I think they're going to be motivated for this game because it's prime time. And it's like a good old rematch, even though it's not the same team. But I think they'll be motivated. I think and Dan talked about that. They got a good defense and they'll be ready to play. So I don't think the 49ers will just lay down and be like, all right, 40-17. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll be closer. I think it'll be closer.
I'm with you, Jeff, because I mean the 3.5 point spread. I don't think that's enough points. The score prediction I gave yesterday was 31-20, and that's 11 points. But I think it's going to be like a competitive 11 points, if that makes sense. Like the Lions are going to score late in the game to make it a 2-possession game. But like you said, like little rematch from last year. The 49ers are at home, prime time. Kyle Shanahan has a lot of pride, and he's a great NFL coach. And I know guys like George Kittle, even Deebo Samuel, all those guys on the team, they want to still win, even though they're not really in it. I think it will be a great game. I would love to see the Lions just absolutely step on their throats and not even make this a game, but I think it'll be competitive. There's a reason. I know they said it, before the season, but there's a reason that this game is still a Monday night game because it's going to be competitive. They could have flexed out of it, but these teams, they really don't like each other, especially after what happened last year. But it's going to be fun. But for the 49ers,
also, real quick, I also saw the ticket prices for this game aren't like crazy because the 49ers are like banged up. I wonder if there's going to be a lot of Lions fans.
Probably.
Most definitely. People bought their tickets before the year started. 100%. That place is going to be flooded with blue. We saw it last year in the NFC Championship.
Yep.
Jeff, do you have, and I'm just interested because I wasn't able to see it yesterday, do you have the 49ers injury report? Because I just want to see like who's in and who's out. Because like we're talking like their defense, like they just like Devondre Campbell suspended, obviously, like Drake Greenlaw is shut down for the year. Javon Hargrave has been on IR. Nick Bosa, who has been battling injury all season long, like he's playing, but I don't know like the level that you're going to see in Nick Bosa at. I'm going to look at his game log. I mean, he has 7 sacks on the year. He hasn't had a sack for 2 weeks. And that's even longer than 2 weeks. He got injured in the Seattle game, didn't play for a little bit, came back in LA, and hasn't had a sack since he's been back.
Yeah.
So like since he's been back from injury. So like I get Jeff, like this is a team that's like, I get it. Like defensively, but I just don't see defensively. Like, dude, they have some big pieces that are out. Like you see Dre Greenlaw out, Leonard Floyd, light practice. What else defensively? Nick Bosa. I mean, he's on the injury report for his hip and oblique. Like that's the guy that he's playing hurt. Hufanga. I mean, he's full practice, but again, he's on the injury report for his wrist. I get it for his wrist.
Be consistent.
But I'm just saying,
Lions players are banged up too. Like
I mean, you have 4. Jeff, you have 3 Lions guys on the injury report that are playing. But I'm just saying, like you're saying defensively, like your argument is defensively they're good. Like defensively, dude, like they haven't seen an offense like the Lions yet. This is the best offense in the NFL. You can sit here and say all we want. Oh, it's still a good 49ers defense. Like, no, we could say, well, Lions defense has – who cares about that? I'm talking about the Lions offense versus the 49ers defense.
Yes.
The 49ers defense, one, they've given 30-plus points up to the contenders that they've played. Every time they play a contender, they give up 30. 2, more of their guys are out. They're shutting guys down for the year. They have linebackers. All of their linebackers are hurt. Hufanga has a wrist injury. Nick Bosa has an oblique and hip injury. Hasn't had a sack since early November. Like, it's not like I get it. Like, the names are cute. They look good. Like, it's a good defense. But, like, buddy, these guys are playing at 60%. And you're like, well, the Lions defense is 60% too. Listen, the Lions defense isn't going up against the number 1 offense in the NFL. That 49ers defense is going up against an offense that's scoring 33 points per game and has put 50 pieces on defenses that have been shut down, like the Cowboys, and defenses that have looked good and have names, but they still put 40, 50 up on you. Like, that's where, to me, it's like, what are we like? I get it. The 49ers defense, they should be good. They have names, but they have not been the 49ers defense we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. This is different. And you're talking about week 17, 18, when they quite literally are like, hey, we're shutting some guys down. There's guys that are getting shut down for the year. Like we're not doing this anymore. And they're suspending guys. Like, it's just, to me, it's like, yeah, I think they'll put up a fight, but defensively, when you look up at the matchup, the number 1 offense versus this defense, I can't see it being a match. Like, I can't. It just.
So kind of back to the original question. So like, this is just a stupid line.
I think it's a line where it's like you have to take the Lions here. Like, I think they're trying to pull people in. I think this is one of those lines, Caleb. They're trying to pull people in to take 49ers plus 3.5. They're like, take it. And then boom, Lions win by 2 or 3 scores. And you're like, why was that even 3.5? We see that all the time in Vegas. We see it all the time.
We all have them covering. So no one disagrees with the number.
Boone, what was your score prediction?
42 or 45 to 27 or 24. It was like around there. It was like almost a 3 touchdown game.
That's a lot of points, man. That's a lot.
I think they put, dude, the Bills and the Packers both put 30 plus on this defense, and like they shut guys down.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing we have to look at is like, yeah, their offense. I'm gonna lean more, and this is why I feel this way, because I get your point. They still, and I'm not looking too much at the guys banged up as much, because I feel like everyone's banged up. That's just how I view it. I'm going with what Dan said. Dan's respecting the defense. I'm respecting the defense. Okay, he's been very confident. I'm flipping it on you now.
You do that. You're pulling on me. On me. I don't like that.
I like that.
You're the one being
Jeff,
like.
That's a good move. That's
crazy. Typically, I'm the one that's doing that.
It's the Booner path chess move. I'm leaning with
the crazy part is you're like doing the respect thing, and I'm saying the Lions are going to win by 40. That's a crazy thing. Well, not 40, but you know.
Yeah. It'll be a good one. It'll be a good one.
All right, boys. Love it. Can't wait for this Monday. Again, live tomorrow at 4:00 on Crunch Time Sports for the Vikings-Packers watch party. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you guys so much for watching the first edition of Saturday Mornings on Crunch Time. Michael Gentry will be back next week. Boone, Jeff, thank you for hopping on. And I hope everybody has a great Saturday. Go Lions and go Packers, I guess. That sounds fucking disgusting to say.
Just Sunday.
Go Packers tomorrow. Just Sunday.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good Saturday.
See you guys.